with Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey. And Governor, this is not your first Principles First Summit. So one, I just want to say we're so happy to have you back.
Thank you.
What keeps you coming back to Principles First?
The people. Heath on down are people who have been willing to stand up for what they believe in their heart is right. And I think they need encouragement to continue to do that and know that there's other people who have been in leadership positions in the Republican Party all the way up to the national level who agree with them and are willing to stand with them and fight with them.
One of the reasons we like having you is you seemed like you were having a lot of fun on the stage. You and Heath had a good back and forth. How would you describe the energy in the room, and how would you compare it to the last summit you went to?
It's much more optimistic. I see a lot more people smiling. A year ago, people were pretty down in the dumps, and rightfully so. And I think that now they're starting to feel that things are crystallizing in the country. People are starting to see that character really matters, that principles matter, much more than what show you're putting on. And so I felt like a much more optimistic vibe coming out of the audience now than I did a year ago.
And that's something that we are excited to hear about, because we've tried to put an emphasis on, we've had a dramatic 250 years as this country. We've had ups, we've had downs. Obviously, we're experiencing a little bit of a down right now. But as you said during your commentary, we're on the upswing. It's like a show that's having a bad season, but we're gonna get past it. What specifically makes you optimistic about where we're going to go from here and how we're going to meet this moment as a nation?
Well, I see the way the American people are responding to what's coming out of the White House every day. And we're seeing not only Democrats and independents disapprove of what's going on, but we're seeing Republican disapproval increase fivefold since I was here last year. Last year, Republican disapproval of Donald Trump was 5%. This year, in the AP poll that just came out 10 days ago, it's 27%. So that's a fivefold increase in a year.
Yeah.
So people should feel good about the fact that not only are Democrats and independents discontent with what's going on, but Republicans ourselves are starting to say, this isn't right for the country. I don't approve of this. And I think you're going to see it be even more when we come back next year.
Right. And one of the things that you said early on that I think resonated with a lot of people is you quoted your mother. I'm a mother myself, so like to hear that your kids are listening to you. And you said she used to tell you to be yourself today, because then you don't have to worry about who you're going to be tomorrow. Obviously, as an organization called Principles First, that's kind of a principle that we want to see instilled. Can you just kind of elaborate on that perspective and why that's so important for people like yourself who have had a career in public service?
I don't know if it's more important for me or it's more important for the people who are trying to judge me and decide whether to vote for me or not. Like, be yourself. Now, there are going to be some days when I'll say things that will rub people the wrong way, that they'll disagree with either philosophically or they won't like exactly the way I said it. But when they come see me a week later, they know I'm going to say things in exactly the same way and act in the same way. And I think that level of consistency in terms of your character is what people need and want and are hungering for right now, because we have a president who's all over the block on this stuff. We have members of Congress who are AWOL on the character issues, and it's leading us to be adrift. Philosophically, is a drift from a policy perspective. And we can see that effect around the world. But America is not firmly knowing who they are and what direction they're moving. The rest of the world comes adrift too.
And that actually touches on something else you said that I thought was a very powerful moment, where you were talking about the only person you're going to agree with 100% of the time is yourself if you look in the mirror. And so if you were going to give advice to somebody who maybe is struggling with leaving a political party or feeling like they need to speak out, but they're afraid of how to do so, what would you advise somebody who's maybe still struggling with that?
I understand why they do. People like to be liked and they like to be accepted. And so it's hard. But think about what you're being accepted into and why you're being liked. And are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable with the compromises and the rationalizations that you have to make to remain that way? And I think most good people in this country, and most of our people are really good people, will say, I'm not comfortable with that. And so as uncomfortable as it is to not be accepted, I would argue it's much more uncomfortable to be a phony. And I don't think that's what the American people are all about.
Now, you are a fan of Bruce Springsteen,
I am.
another famous New Jerseyan. And when we talk about optimism, he came out with a song recently. Are there any lyrics, songs that come to mind that you think are kind of a defining soundtrack of the moment that we're in?
Yeah. Out of Badlands, poor man want to be rich, rich man want to be king, and the king ain't satisfied till he rules everything. People should think about that one in our current context.
Absolutely, they should. And we just want to end it on a high note. What's something that gives you optimism for the future? You said a lot of people were smiling in the room and that a lot of people showed up prepared to meet the moment. What are you hopeful for in the future?
What I'm hopeful for, as I said at the end of my talk there, was that the room will be twice the size next year that it is this year, and I think it will be. And I believe that change is coming, and I think these people feel much less lonely this year than they did last year, and they're going to feel less lonely next year.
All right. Governor Christie, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.